Turning problems into positives. I don't have any specific examples, but the first thing that comes to mind is the amount of times that I have moved, or the amount of vehicles that I have had, or the amount of times I thought I had been in my forever situation just to have the rug pulled out from underneath me, or the times that I felt I was safe and could be vulnerable, only to be betrayed and hurt the most. I'm not sure what resilience is per se, and I've looked it up before. I remember the first time that it really came across my radar, and it was in a therapy session, and the therapist said it like it was a good thing. She's like, "Wow, you're really resilient. Look at all the things that you've been through, and here you are still doing these things." And I hated that she said that. I was like, I don't, being resilient's not, I don't want to have to be resilient, is the thing. I want to just be smart to make the right choices the first time so I don't make the wrong choices that lead me to where I have to be resilient. Like, that's where I would like to be. So I suppose resilience is allowing the problems to arise and having the calmness, the perseverance, the problem solving skills, the critical thinking skills, the over encompassing consideration of everyone involved skills. Resilience is that you keep going. You know you're still here on earth. You know it hasn't been your time to exit yet. So you keep going. Have you wanted to exit? Probably, especially if you feel drawn to my stuff, because I talk about a lot of depression and anxiety in the hard times, because that has been my experience and that's what I've lived through. So that's what I'm an expert at. Expert at resilience, an expert at turning problems into, I don't know. I don't know what I turn the problems into, but I handle them. I know that I have moved over a dozen times in, I mean, probably like, yeah, over a dozen times, which means my child has moved over a dozen times. We're not even army brats. And have that, like, most of those times we've been in the same town. It's just a matter of jumping around trying to find housing that's adequate, that's affordable, or from relationship to relationship, or, yeah, resilience. Turning problems into positives. Building this house, there were a lot of problems. But the positive was I knew I was going to get a house out of it. Just had to survive through the problems. I was worried that the problems would end up costing me so much money that it'd go over budget and then I wouldn't have a house in the end, because if you don't have the budget, you don't have the budget. That was one I had a hard time with. I was pregnant at 16. Some would call that a problem. It's kind of an easy one to turn into a positive because, like, babies are like puppies and kittens. They're cute and amazing. Expensive? Yes. Was that, is a child being expensive a problem? To some, yes, that might be a problem. But to me, it's just required that I live a higher level of lifestyle. It's required that I strive for a little bit better. It's required that I focus on some of the more important things of life instead of just, I mean, life really does have no meaning. And even that, you can even say it's about the people that's around us, but sometimes we don't have people around us. And sometimes that's what it's about. And sometimes the people that are around us are not the right people. And sometimes we'll never find the right people because the right people is within us and everything's reflected out. So if you don't do the inner work, you're not going to find those people. And as you do the inner work and change, it's the people will change too. Excuse me. Had to take a drink of coffee there. Resilience. Problems into positives. Problems into positives. Problems into positives. You are, yeah, and I mean, problems, they're great. They create opportunities to problem solve. And who doesn't love problem solving? Have you ever, I mean, just a puzzle. Do you enjoy doing a puzzle? And then when you're done, you're like, wow, I did it. Do you ever do the Wordles or I can't remember what the other New York Times game is, the connection or something? Like problems, solving problems feels good. And that's a positive. People have lots of problems. It's all about finding the silver lining, finding the lesson, understanding what the problem's trying to show you, seeing how the problem is trying to bring out your strengths, your creative abilities to handle the situation. And sometimes people don't have the resilience for the problems. So maybe I'm saying I don't know what resilience is because it's hard to have a mirror and reflect. Um, but I know what resilience is not, and it's running away. It's not having the hard conversations. It's not putting in the dedicated time to know what loyalty is, to know how to grow, whether that be at a place of employment or a relationship or even a project, even loyalty to yourself. How many things do you start and then don't finish? I'm talking to myself there on that one. Loyalty to yourself. Loyalty. Loyalty is a funny one. As I talk about this, keep in mind that everything that's out there is reflective of what's in. So, as I talk about the things that I'm noticing out there, I do understand that that's a reflection from what's going on inside of me. And I will say, some of the nicest men, they're so nice to me out in public, random situations. So nice and so kind. And then it sparks my interest. I'm like, oh, you're being very kind, more so than some others. And then I look and they have a ring on their finger. Now, are they being more kind because they feel more safe because they know nothing can come of it? Or are they being more kind because they're married and it's not a healthy marriage and they're looking elsewhere? Either way, in my experiences, I have had the greater percentage of men that speak to me or treat me kindly or have been there for me through DMs have been married men. So let that sink in for myself. I don't know what that means, why I'm attracting that, but it definitely makes me question what my viewpoints of married men are. Married men are so nice. I honestly think it's a safety thing. I really do. I don't think it's the there's a lot of good married men that are super loyal, and I think maybe that's just what it is that they are so secure See, maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe they are so secure in their loyalty that their authenticity is able to come out. Because if they're single or insecure in their relationship, they're going to be hiding that attraction. They're going to be hiding that they think you're an amazing person because they know that they don't have the control to not cross boundaries. Wow. I've been reading this all wrong. I have been shaming a lot of men when really it's probably the exact opposite. And who knows? It could be one or the other. That's the beautiful thing about earth and duality is like I'm just sitting here contemplating it could be either or, you know? I don't know. And if I ask them, they're definitely going to go on the defense and just I mean, I don't know what they're going to say, but half of them say that they're in an open marriage. Not that I've talked to the woman, so who knows if that's true or not. So, oh, these bangs are really itchy. It's also allergy season with cotton blowing all over where I live right now. So it's beautiful. Oh, I love the springtime. I love where I live. There's just so much nature. Nature is so key. That's another. If you're looking for something to upgrade your life, get into nature every single day, not just on the weekends, every single day. Is it going to be hard for you? Probably, depending on where you live. But you do live on Earth, so there is going to be nature around you somewhere. And just spend some time looking at the nature. Spend some time noticing the textures. Spend some time noticing the patterns. Spend some time noticing the wind or the sun rays or the ants. Just spend some time noticing your earth, nature every day. You'll start to feel an inner connection to yourself that you probably didn't notice before. So it's just a fun little tip. Turning problems into positives. Every time I go into nature, I forget what my problems are. That's not true. Sometimes I cry for hours over my problems in nature. And many times I'll go out into nature and not come back until the problems feel like they're gone. And sometimes I go into nature and I wish I could be gone until the problems are gone. But I feel like it would take too long. And I have life must go on. This video feels really weird. I keep telling myself I'm going to do better, like how to videos, more straightforward, more more informative, more value, more YouTube friendly, more algorithm friendly. I'll get there. For now, I'm going to end this here. Next time you have a problem, think how you can turn it into a positive. Problems into positives. Remember, double P, PP. I'm Deb. I spell that with two B's. I like to share my human experience, hoping it helps you gain confidence in your human experience. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe so that discussions can find you when they need to find you. Cheers.